gentlemen, this is the Right Guys podcast, and there's only 8 days left until it all changes. And now your hosts, Josh Hammerling and Max McGuire.
Welcome back. Another edition of the Right Guys podcast. My name is Max McGuire. Here with Mr. Producer Josh Hammerling. You vote today?
Get started. I got big news.
Yeah.
I just voted. Did you? Yeah.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Voted this morning.
Felt good. I went there. I filled out the bubble. It was almost a complete party line vote on this one because I had to go like that one. And I walked out and I was thinking, back in, I think it was 2008, I went and voted for McCain and whoever. And I texted a friend. I was like, hey, I just voted for the next president of the United States. And it didn't happen. But I felt when I voted that election, like it wasn't going to happen. This one, I was like, man, woo, I'm feeling the groundswell.
This feels like 2016, not 2020.
Yeah.
And so I'm wearing the OG 2016 mesh side rope accent MAGA hat because I'm feeling 2016 energy. I'm not feeling 2020 energy.
No, it's behind us.
Not feeling that energy. I ordered my dark MAGA hat. I feel like it's just never going to come in. So we're just going to wait. I had another hat I could wear, which was signed by Mike Pence, but I never want to put that on my head again.
Does it count as like a hat that you should keep?
That was an OG 2016 MAGA.
Yeah,
hat,
I guess you keep it for the signature, right? At least you got Pence's autograph.
Well, no, I'm keeping it. I'm going to try and rub the signature off.
Okay.
Try and rub it off.
Right. Maybe take it to a Trump rally someday. Have him sign out the Pence and
sign on
replace
top
it
of
with
JD Vance on top of it.
Yeah.
Feeling good. And it was fun today. You're in the polling booth and you don't know how everyone's voting. But I made eye contact with a guy wearing like machinist kind of like a mechanic's kind of outfit with like a trucker hat on. And we just made eye contact. We just looked at each other and we both just kind of smiled. So there was like a moment. There was a moment there, right? So you don't know who everyone's voting for, but in that moment, I knew who he was voting for. He knew who I was voting for. And we had that little connection. It was sweet. But yeah, no, this is a big. This is big, and still, I'm very bullish on this.
Yeah,
and it's making me uncomfortable because I remember 2020, but then I remember 2016. So it's a little bit of PTSD from 2020, but I'm very bullish on this.
I don't want you to forget though that in 2020 there was a significant Trump lead.
The
midnight hour. And we were up. I mean, we were up for that in a previous life, and we were feeling good. Like you were seeing it, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly 1 a.m. happens or something. And you're like, George just closed the doors.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the spike hits, right? The spike hits.
Yeah. I wish that in 2020, I knew enough about early vote, propensity vote, like tracking things to be able to read what we can read now then. Because if I knew how to read that and this data was more readily available back then, I don't think I would have been as bullish in 2020, right? In terms of how many Democrat votes were banked, right? So understanding how many votes have been banked, how many votes are still outstanding. But knowing all that now, and there's lots of good social media accounts on X that share it, there is no way that the Democrats put up as many votes as they did in 2020. It's just not going to happen. Now, I don't think Donald Trump is going to put up as many votes as he did in 2020, but I believe in the states that matter, he's going to put up more votes than Democrats. Like here we are. We have 1 or 2 more days of early voting in Nevada, and Republicans are winning.
I mean, they're coming out of the gate with a strong lead. Now, it doesn't mean that the race is over. Again, we've got to stress, get out there, vote. If you're a day of voter, make sure you go. If you don't care when you vote, go now. I mean, that's why we both went and did it today because how many times we had the conversation, we don't know what's going to happen. You got, car breaks down. You're stuck in the middle of nowhere. So get out.
That's the conversation a lot of people are having. Like, what if you're going to cannibalize the day of vote? That's not real, right? It's how many votes. It's banking as many votes as you can. And a vote early banked for Trump is worth 1.
Yeah. It's in.
Hoping that same person turns out on election day is technically less than or equal to 1.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's always the possibility that person doesn't show up. So it is always better to get a vote now than it is to hope that vote comes in later. The benefit of banking votes early is that when someone has banked a vote early, the GOP, the Trump campaign, doesn't have to then try and chase that vote on election day. So it's huge. And banking the vote now will give the Trump campaign the data it needs to make really wise, smart, effective election day moves in terms of where do we need the vote? Where do we gotta go wrangle some votes?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling very good. Very good. And Josh, watching that rally last night in Madison Square Garden,
grabs you, doesn't it?
You can't not feel emotional.
Yeah.
Like pulling this hat out of my closet. I had hung it up in my closet. I guess for this very week. Right? Been
waiting for that day.
Can't help but feel emotional about this journey, this 9-year journey of Trump coming down the escalator, right?
Yeah.
Beating Hillary Clinton, the bullshit of 2020, and now this resurgence where it looks like he is peaking at all of the right places at all the right times to take it back now. You can't help but feel emotional.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the Democrats obviously don't have. You can't feel emotional about Kamala Harris. She didn't get a single primary vote. But again, the Democrats, okay, who are we voting for this year? Okay, blue no matter who, right? But when you're involved in a campaign, when you're involved in advocacy, like we have been for the last decade,
sure,
the feeling it reminds me of is sitting in the movie theater watching Avengers Endgame for the first time, right? And even if you don't are like not a Marvel fanboy, like I grew up watching those movies, right? And making connections with these characters, and you see the arc come full circle, right? And the heroes get their moment, the villains get what they deserve, and you can't help but feel your eyes start to water a little bit because of the stakes and because of the emotional buildup behind it, right? Kamala Harris will never have that.
No,
she never will. But with Trump, it's very, very real.
He set out to make America great from the start. It was something that he said that resonated with people, so much so that in 2016 he won. Right, and that started something new for us, because for a long time we had been America, not just second, third, we were dead last. Right, we're still last in the eyes of Democrats and the liberal elite. Yeah. He came out with a message that we all really got behind. We believe in, and there was a tremendous effort to make sure that message doesn't continue in 2020. Because out the gate, the Democrats came out with the messaging that he's, orange man bad and everything about MAGA is evil.
Yeah.
But it's not. All we want is America great and strong again.
Yeah.
And they hate us so much for it that they label us as Nazis, the whole MSG thing where, they're trying to liken the Nazis showing up to Madison Square, right?
Best week ever. I don't know if I told you this, but I now have fact-checking powers on X. I'm in community notes. So I can't write community notes yet, but I can vote on whether they should be put there. So that happened over the weekend. So I think I've been spending way too much time on that. But I'm almost at the point where I can start writing them. And once I can start writing them, that's where it's going to get dangerous. But seeing just the behind the scenes arguing on this is a Nazi rally, and the rest of the fact checkers what are you talking about? We have a clip of MSNBC. I want everyone to pay attention to the Chiron, and I'll read it out after the clip. The Chiron at the bottom, lower third, for MSNBC, saying that Trump is rallying in Madison Square Garden 80 some odd years after the Nazis did.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. A rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms.
What are they doing here?
Most of his clothing was torn from his body.
So we covered this. I know it's terrible. We covered this last week on the podcast, but it's worth covering again. This is not Madison Square Garden. Like the arena where Trump was at is not what you see in this footage. And like the easiest way to fact check this is that Madison Square Garden was built in 1968.
Yeah.
This rally was held in 1939. In New York City, they have had over the years, 4 locations that they have called the Garden. And these have been venue halls. They've moved around different spots. Oh, this is the biggest hall. We'll call this one the Garden. Oh, this is the biggest hall. We'll call this one the Garden. Oh, we need a bigger one. Oh, we'll build it over here. It'll be the Garden. No Nazis have ever rallied in Madison Square Garden as it exists now. But the people who have rallied there are Democrats. Bill Clinton received the DNC nomination at Madison Square Garden. I wonder if MSNBC was creating those parallels back then as Bill Clinton was getting that nomination at MSG. Oh, this is where the Nazis once met. I suspect they didn't.
I want to go back to the messaging I was saying, right? Because Trump comes out with the Make America Great Again. And the messaging that we get from the left is that he's a Nazi.
Yeah.
I mean, they come out of the gate calling him a fascist leader. Trump has never been a fascist leader. Everybody in Trump's cabinet was either elected or chosen. Trump himself was elected or chosen. The only fascist pick of a leader happened when Kamala Harris was selected, not elected. Right? So that's the messaging. All they have is negativity. All they have is attack, attack, attack. All they have is Trump isn't doing a great job. But what people see about Trump is that under him, taxes were lower. Inflation was lower. I had more opportunity. Right. Yeah. And now that we've gotten the real extreme Democrat policies, we've seen them really bad in these last 4 years. Right. People see it. People understand it. And at what point is the media going to do their job and point out that the real fascists are themselves?
Yeah,
that's what they are. But now's the time to make some change, y'all.
Yeah, now is the time to make some change. The biggest takeaway, other than MSNBC calling these people Nazis, which I want to get that in a second, they ran with a joke that Tony Hinchcliffe. Do you know Tony Hinchcliffe?
I don't know.
Have you ever watched Kill Tony?
Kill Tony. No.
It's a comedy show. It's actually the biggest live recorded podcast on the planet. Wow. And so he is a comedian. And basically, they host an open mic night for comedians in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so every week they record, it's like 2 or 3 hours, and they have bucket polls. So people put their names in the bucket. They go on stage. And if they're good, they're good. If they're bad, they get roasted by Tony Hinchcliffe and a panel of other comedians.
Hilarious.
Yes. So he's the guy who did the roast of Tom Brady, who went on stage and just savaged everyone.
Yeah.
Right. He walked on stage from the audience. That's him. So he's a roast comic, right? He makes fun of people. That's just what he does. What he does. Yesterday, he made this comment. He's never come on stage after the national anthem before. They sang the national anthem and they put him on stage. He's a comedian. Usually there's other comedians that go on before him to warm up the room a little bit.
Yeah.
So he had some jokes that fell flat. He had some really amazing jokes. Talking about how like with all these celebrities coming to Kamala Harris's side, the Democrat Party is looking more and more like a P. Diddy party nowadays, which was very funny. But he made a joke, and his whole thing is like, I'm going to make you think I'm going one way, and then I'm going to whiplash you somewhere else. So he made a joke about the giant oceanic garbage patch. And he said, I don't know if you've heard about this. There's a giant patch
That I
of
know of,
garbage
yeah.
floating around in the ocean. And then he said, it's called Puerto Rico.
Oh, that joke. Yeah.
So
Okay.
let me go ahead and play that joke right now.
Okay.
Going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Ouch.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the
there.
national anthem, everybody.
So he's a roast comic, right? New York City, lots of Puerto Ricans. Poke a little fun. Does he think that Puerto Rico is garbage? No. He's come out and said, I don't think Puerto Rico is garbage. He visits there often. He has lots of Puerto Rican close friends, warm people. It's just a joke. He could have said that joke about Long Island. He could have said that joke about Staten Island, right? He probably would have been better if he said, I'm so glad I could get here and see the large ocean garbage patch in person. Yeah, it's called Staten Island. And people would be fine, like,
yeah, we know that one.
Dirty
right.
people. He could have said anything, right?
Yeah.
But the left is now spinning this to be that this is proof positive. That was a Nazi rally. Tony Hinchcliffe made fun of the island of Puerto Rico. Racist joke. Must have been, it's proof positive it is a Nazi rally. I don't think he meant that with any malice. But the what makes good comedy is when the jokes have a hint of truth to them.
Yeah.
And so there has been widespread reporting that Puerto Rico has a huge crisis with its trash problem.
Oh, really?
It's an island. It doesn't have enough landfills.
Sure.
The landfills are overflowing. The hurricane came in and basically busted landfills open and trash went everywhere. So this joke is a little bit true. EPA settles lawsuit over Puerto Rico landfill contamination.
Wow.
AccuWeather, an island littered with trash. How Maria highlighted Puerto Rico's poor waste management.
Wow.
I didn't know that AccuWeather was part of the Nazi rally, right? I mean, like,
I know.
So there's elements of truth to it. He's ribbing the Puerto Ricans in the audience. It just didn't come out of nowhere. There were a lot of Puerto Ricans. Have you ever been to New York?
Yeah.
I mean, once a year, you'll see Chuck Schumer march in the Puerto Rican Day Parade. It's a sight. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Right. But the left is saying it was a racist joke. And that any joke that highlights a specific ethnicity of people is unacceptable. So the real question, though, is when is the media going to come for the Kamala Harris campaign? Because this was a joke that was said at a Tim Walz rally just the other day.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall. And George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
Wow.
It's funny. It's funny. What he's saying is, if you don't build the wall, the Mexicans are going to steal all the equipment. Those thieving Mexicans are going to take all of the steel and they're going to bring it to the recycling center and they're going to get scrap prices for it. If you leave it out overnight, it's a funny joke. Now, does George Lopez think that all Mexicans are thieves? No, it's a joke.
Right.
It's a joke, right? But it's also a joke that plays on a stereotype that has some elements of truth to it.
Oh, yeah.
That if you were to leave stuff out, it probably would get stolen in certain areas, right? So it's a joke.
I've heard it.
The party and the media apparatus that said Tony Hinchcliffe was a racist for daring to poke fun at Puerto Rico's well-documented trash sanitation issues. He's racist. But George Lopez saying that the Mexicans are going to steal all the border wall equipment, all the border wall materials, if you don't put it up all in one day. That's not racist, right?
Yeah.
Can't have it both ways. I think that neither of these comics are racist. I don't have a problem with any of them. I thought Tony's fell a little flat, but that happens. Sometimes when you come on stage after the national anthem, sometimes your jokes fall flat a little bit.
Yeah. And that's a hard open, you know.
It's
and
a hard open.
He just went for a joke he thought he might get laughs. George Lopez here, for some of the anti-white jokes I've heard him tell, like this one is probably one of the most mild. that come out of him. I thought it was going to be like a real like Trump roast, but I was like, wow, it's actually a pretty funny joke. And when did it become like bad taste to have jokes that make fun of other people? Like, wasn't that the heart of comedy? Do you think Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder cared about each other's skin color when they were telling those off-color jokes from the 70s?
No. And
no, they loved each other.
Yeah, like he could have said, "Oh wow, have you heard about the giant pile of trash in the Atlantic? I hear it's called Ireland." I'd be like, "Ha ha ha! Send, do another Irish joke, do another one. Let's
make fun of our drinking."
Yeah, make fun. Oh, have you ever seen that Key and Peele sketch?
No, but they are hilarious. So
it's called Burn Victim.
No, I haven't seen that one. Can we play that without getting in trouble?
Yeah, we can play it and we can comment on it. Let me download
probably
it.
If it's funny. But yeah, when did comedy lose its edge? You know, when did comedy start getting the censor hammer coming down on it, right? When did we allow Karens to be in charge of what's funny? It's not funny anymore. We got to bring back good old-fashioned comedy where we get to make fun of everybody's color of their skin, their hair at times. I mean, we can't even do that anymore. I miss the 90s and 80s. At least back then, we told some pretty funny jokes.
And there's been a resurgence in comedy with comedians saying, "Screw you, I'm not getting canceled."
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. We're just going to go with it. But it always wasn't like that. It looked like cancel culture was going to cancel all comedy.
I know. I mean, all the good stuff would just be gone and be this liberal dribble that nobody would go and see. Right? Yeah. Like old school Richard Pryor would not make it today when he was on stage. Right? Even old school Eddie Murphy now in Raw, people would have a problem with.
Yeah.
And Raw was hilarious. I mean, was it vulgar? Sure, but it was Eddie Murphy vulgar. Like, it was funny. He did a good job with it. But that stuff just doesn't fly now. Like, I don't remember it was a TV show that Tool Time. It had the whole family. Home Improvement. Remember Home Improvement?
Yeah.
It's too macho now.
Yeah.
Right? And there's too many man jokes.
You can never do it.
It's a disgusting world.
I'm struggling to download this.
I know you are, and I'm sitting here stretching, waiting for you to come up with something.
So basically, the skit it's an insult comment at a comedy club.
Yeah.
And and he's basically doing all jokes about people. And he said, I'm gonna insult everyone tonight. It's getting an insult. And he starts doing it, and all of a sudden he lands on someone who is horrifically scarred from a fire. And it's just uncomfortable because he doesn't want to do it. So here, let me fast forward through it. Here we go.
Thank you, sir. All right. How's everybody doing? All right. And you guys can all hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know this guy can right here. Boy, this guy's ears are so big, he's laughing at jokes from the Yuck Yuck Club all the way on the other side of town. All right. Hey. And you, sir, you're doing okay? Right. And you're getting enough to eat. Is that even possible? Thank you, sir. Folks, I'm sorry. I'm going to get everybody tonight. Nobody is safe. I'm getting everybody, except for you, sir. I'm going to leave you alone. Just like your date did tonight. Hello! All right.
Here it comes.
Okay, who is next? Who is next? Hey, ma'am. I get it. You have breasts, okay? Jeez, I mean, look at this chick over here. Her cleavage is giving the Grand Canyon an inferiority complex.
You skipped me.
Who's talking right now?
Me.
Yeah, hey, man. Look at that pink shirt you got on there. Wow. Where'd you get that? QueerTshirts.com?
It's in support of breast cancer awareness. I am gay, though.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Go for it. I can take it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. No, hey, yeah, don't you worry about that, man. Gloves are coming off. Okay. Right there. What's with the 3 drinks, man? Alcoholic much?
This is my pain medication.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. This is hilarious.
He is in pain. Right now.
Make fun of the burns.
Make fun of the burns.
Make fun of the, what did you say? Because here's the problem, sir, is it's really dark in here. And sorry, are you burned? Because I can't make it out. Thanks so much, man, for eliminating that. Thank you. That's, I appreciate that. Oh, those burns.
Make fun of the robot voice.
Sir, I don't know.
Come on, I can take it.
Okay, well, no, you know what? I feel
Or
like...
the wheelchair.
Look, sir, there is nothing funny about you being in a wheelchair, and we can all...
But there is something funny about me being fat.
All right, no, all right, fine. I've got it. I'm doing it. I just didn't want to go after this guy because I didn't want him to kill me in my dreams.
Freddy Krueger.
Like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Wait.
You know, did you see how Freddy Krueger's face is burned off? That's not...
This is so wrong.
Asshole.
He said he could take it. That's what he said.
I thought I could, but I can't.
How's this on me? How do we even know if he's crying right now? Well, I don't know that sound. It just sounds like an electronic sound.
The tears. They burn.
Oh my God.
So yeah, really funny sketch, and it reminds me of what is going on now with comedy, especially yesterday at Madison Square Garden. Right?
That changed my whole world. Like that.
Yeah.
That's bad stuff.
Very funny stuff. But that's kind of how it is. Oh yeah, roast me. The minute you roast them, hey, that's racist. How dare you do that?
My feelings.
Sorry,
Oh.
I can't believe you've never seen that before.
No, I have, it's hilarious because I think those two have really good comedy chops, and they just don't care.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So racist. Back to this racist Trump rally. Nazis.
Crazy.
I don't know if you got to watch any of the pregame coverage. Our Right Side Broadcasting was in the crowd, and they found one of the best Trump characters I think that they have ever found at a Trump rally. A woman who was just waiting in line, and they just let her go for a little bit. So let's watch this the character that they found.
Right here, folks, 2024, folks.
We're Chinese first generation. We love Trump from our bottom of the heart because we know Trump is the only one can save America. Kamala is so stupid. She is so low IQ, no qualification to be the president. You shall stay away from that position. You are lost the position. You lost our trust. You lost our vote. You just need to go home, to stay home. You cannot do anything to save America. You are so stupid. You don't know anything. You cannot even answer any question from the camera, from all the media. How you can be on the stage to fight
And one guy in the back's like, she's got fire.
to protect American people, to protect all the world. You are not qualified. You just need to go home. Let Trump to save America, to save the world, to put America first. If America to be strong, to be saved, and then America can save the whole world. Trump, we love you. We love you forever. Never ever surrender. Fight for Trump. Fight. Trump, we love you so much, Trump. You are the best president in our lifetime. We so appreciate here as the first generation of the Chinese people. We are so grateful for America, for American people. We are immigrants, but we come from the front door, not from the border. Legally cross the border. We don't welcome those kind of people cross the border to come come to America to destroy America, to kill American people. We cannot allow those people to come to our country anymore. We need a president to protect our country, to see the border, to let the Kamala, let the Biden to stay at home, to keep away from the White House. America first. America will be the best country in the world. Thank you, President Trump. This is Caroline Trump. We love you. That's the first one you gave to me in the 2016. I'm the first volunteer in Trump building. When you come from the elevator, we know you are become the best American president in the world. Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, ma'am. Wow. A resounding support.
Best Trump character.
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah. I mean, she was
loved
more American than most Americans in that moment.
She went for 3 minutes. A 3-minute stream of consciousness rant.
Yeah.
Kamala, you were so stupid.
When she said that, you were
just
so
stay
home. I had flashbacks of women I dated. I was like, you're so stupid. Go home.
You're so stupid. Don't be president. Just go home.
Wow. I love her. Like, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And there were people behind her like,
yeah.
Sure.
It's great. And they get a lot of these moments at Trump rallies, but this was probably the best one I've ever seen in terms of the Trump characters. And she said that she was one of the first volunteers in 2020 at Trump Tower. She's local. Again, you can't help but feel emotional about this.
Yeah.
Hearing that, understanding that she's a first generation Chinese American.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously she knows what's at stake. She doesn't want the United States to become like China or like any other socialist country. It ramps up what we already know, that this is a big deal. It's not just, we want a Republican in the White House instead of a Democrat. The stakes are real, and the people understand the stakes are real. And the polling that I've seen has shown that the independents are starting to break for Trump, even if only for the fact that Kamala Harris hasn't actually convinced them what she's going to do.
Yeah. And I got a feeling that they're going to be really focusing their money and the attention on independents moving here out, or they're going to have to spend their money trying to get their base out. I think the Democrats are facing a real problem. They can't get their own base to turn out for this one.
No.
And their hope is the independents, because they're not gonna have the never Trumper vote, not like they did in 2020. I think that's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
So, where do they go from here with that stuff? And we've seen it. She was was she in Massachusetts the other day? She was in Michigan again. She's in Pennsylvania. I mean, she's just hanging out in traditionally deep blue areas, man.
Well, let me tell you,
she should be out being more diverse on that.
Let me tell you some of the news.
What?
Remember what I said last week? Pay attention to where the campaigns are going to be going, what they're going to be focusing on, ad buys. It tells you whether the map is shrinking for Kamala, growing for Trump, or vice versa. We now know Donald Trump will be rallying in Virginia. He is also going to be rallying this week in New Mexico.
Oh, my.
We just had a poll out yesterday from a newspaper in New Hampshire showing Trump winning by 0.4%.
New Hampshire? New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Wow.
Trump 50.2. Harris 49.8. It's one poll.
Yeah.
But remember, we talked about last week, New Hampshire has more Republicans than Democrats. So New Hampshire usually is about R+8. It just so happens to be that a lot of those Republicans vote for Democrats. And a lot of the independents vote for Democrats. But New Hampshire has more Republicans than Democrats. So it is not outside the realm of possibility that Donald Trump could win. They have a Republican governor right now.
Interesting.
Here's the other news. Donald Trump is rallying in Virginia. Poll came out showing Donald Trump down 1 in Virginia.
Wow. Wow.
We are now hearing that the Kamala Harris campaign is moving their ad spend from North Carolina and putting it into Virginia instead.
Wow. Pulling that ripcord on North Carolina, huh?
Not just that they are adding new spend, but they're actually moving it from one state into Virginia.
They must feel that that is a lost cause.
They must believe that North Carolina is a lost cause. And
why put the money in? Yeah.
So what they're looking at is the only way they win is by keeping Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Donald Trump can run the table with every other swing state, with North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. He can win those. If he doesn't pick off Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin, he loses.
Yeah.
So the way the Kamala Harris campaign is looking at this is if he wins Virginia, he wins.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Kamala Harris can go through Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, but if she loses Virginia, then she loses the whole thing.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to pick off North Carolina, they're basically retreating to try and stop Trump from getting over the top, right? They're not going for the blowout anymore.
No,
they're not going for the 300 plus electoral vote victory. They're going to stop Donald Trump from getting over 269. And they are putting all of their resources. She'll probably go to Georgia one more time, maybe Arizona one more time, just as lip service. But the most of the money, effort, time, resources, people are being put into Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Now they're moving North Carolina to Georgia. Sorry, North Carolina to Virginia. Donald Trump is rallying in New Mexico. If they start getting other data that New Mexico can flip, then it's the same deal. Then they could still win all of the Rust Belt, but if Trump flips New Mexico, it's over. Right? New Hampshire. If he gets New Hampshire, that might be able to get him over the top too. So they're freaking out. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. She can still win this thing. She can still win all those states. Donald Trump can sweep the Sun Belt, right, and still lose in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I don't think he'll lose all three, but it is possible. Certainly possible.
Yeah. We saw it the last time, right?
Yeah.
If you're not ready, it's not possible. But to see them wargaming where they should be putting the money, tells you a lot about their strategy to win the game. And if what's crazy is they still have to put the money into Wisconsin, though. The vice president's coming from that state, right? You usually enjoy the state of the individual you've picked on your ticket. And they don't have that one, which kind of freaks them out, which still, like we said last week, it's the biggest blunder we've ever seen for picking Tim Walz. Josh Shapiro would have made this a completely different race. Completely different.
This is how this map just loaded when I went into it.
Yeah.
This is the base way it loads right now. This is more swing states than before.
Yeah.
So this website 270 to win is basically not giving New Hampshire, Virginia, Minnesota, or New Mexico to her automatically. That's interesting.
Wild.
So let's assume that Trump sweeps through everything. You see this number up here?
Yeah, he's already
268. 268.
One more state.
New Hampshire wins it. Then you would need one more state, right? I mean, technically, he could win Nebraska. Completely, and that gets him over the top. But I don't think that's going to happen. The polling I've seen out there, she's plus 12 in that one,
which is wild.
But so if she wins all these, she's president, right? So Donald Trump has to win Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina. He could lose Nevada. He could. Because he's still down, right? Then it's where do you get the other 7+ electoral votes? Picking up New Mexico doesn't do it. Picking up New Hampshire doesn't do it. New Hampshire plus New Mexico would do it. But he'll win Nevada before he wins those two. So let's give him Nevada again. He's got to win one more of these states, either New Mexico, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, or New Hampshire. He's going to Virginia and New Mexico. Don't be surprised. Here's my next prediction. Donald Trump rally in New Hampshire with Nikki Haley.
It'd be a great idea.
That's the next
prediction.
prediction.
They do it.
That's the next prediction. Nikki Haley, Donald Trump in New Hampshire.
So do they ignore going back to Michigan and spend their time in Pennsylvania and Virginia?
He will be back in Michigan. This is where it's fun watching him for 10 years.
Yeah.
He will be back in Michigan on the eve of Election Day. He will do a midnight rally in Michigan, and he'll stand up there and say, "We ended our 2016 campaign in Michigan. We ended our 2020 campaign in Michigan, and we're going to do it again. Let's have a party." Right? And they're going to have a big party. Kid Rock, everyone there. He'll go to Wisconsin again. He'll go to Pennsylvania again. The question is, when does he go to New Hampshire? And does he go to Minnesota?
I would suggest he's got to at least try Minneapolis. He's got to at least try to get to the heart, because he'll have the rural parts of Minnesota, right? He needs St. Paul and Minneapolis, right? He's got to have those two. Otherwise, they know the counties they got to go after there.
Yeah.
Right? The Wisconsin it has to have the Dems really worried. Because if Wisconsin,
they're worried about all of them.
I know.
They're worried about all of them.
We could be looking at a possibility of New York being 50-50. Could you, man? I know you keep shaking your head.
I don't think it's possible, because there's just so many people.
I know it's not a swing state, but if he comes out with 51% of that vote,
if you flipped 1 million Democrats to Republicans, it'd be the biggest registration flip ever. You still wouldn't win. Right? That's the struggle. There's just so many people. You look at California. The California polling shows Kamala Harris doing worse than any other Democrat in recent memory in California. But it doesn't matter, because there's so many people. And I say the same thing about Kamala Harris coming to Texas and saying, "Oh, we're going to flip Texas. We're only down 5." Down 5 is still millions of votes, like hundreds of thousands of votes, right? It's not like I'm only down 2 in New Hampshire, right? Maybe 20,000 votes could eke out this victory for me. No, you need hundreds of thousands of votes to flip, millions of votes to flip in Texas to get that to work, right? So in California and New York, there's just so many Democrats, and you need to flip so many or convince the other side to stay home. I think he's going to overperform in New York and California, but I don't want to say never, but I don't see it. And same with New Jersey. I think he's going to overperform in New Jersey and do really well for a Republican in New Jersey comparatively. There's just too many. There's just too many Democrats.
Right. I used to have hope for my home state of Colorado, man, but they haven't done a poll since September. I mean, she's still up by 10, I think, in Colorado, which just blows my mind. Because there'd be another one, right? I want a surprise state to show up in Trump's pocket. I want it to be Virginia. If I can't get Virginia, I want New Mexico, Nevada. I would love to have Colorado in there to throw 10. If he can get Minnesota, Michigan, it's over.
I don't think he gets Minnesota. I don't think he gets New Mexico. I don't think he gets Virginia. I think it's certainly possible. Virginia has made a lot of changes, a lot of inroads in terms of election integrity. So they've cleaned the voter rolls. They're in court right now over whether or not they have to let illegal aliens vote, which is crazy.
Which is wild, right?
But they've done a lot of work because they have a Republican governor. So Virginia is going to be very close, much closer than before. But at the same time, Northern Virginia is where all of the DC liberals now live, because DC is becoming a hellhole. So there's so many Democrats in Northern Virginia. I don't know if they're going to be as apathetic as some of the Democrats that we see in other cities. Like Miami, the early vote in Miami is red.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't think that Northern Virginia liberals are going to be as apathetic as Miami, Florida liberals, right? Because in Northern Virginia, they're going to be, oh, yeah, we have the vote. We understand what's at stake. and they can see a reasonable pathway to win Virginia. I think probably this is probably going to go blue, but it would be great if it went red. I think probably we're looking at this. That would be my guess right now. And I think he can win Michigan. I think especially with what he's been doing the last week with the Muslim vote.
Yeah.
I think he can win Michigan. I think it's entirely possible he sweeps these 3 states. Definitely. But if I had to lost Josh for a second. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay.
If I had to guess, it would be this. This would be my map. That would be my guess.
I'm still enough to win it.
Do I want it? I want it to be this. And I think it very well could be. But if I had to guess which one of these 3 will go Democrat, I mean, even that's tight, right? I think Trump's won Pennsylvania. He will win Pennsylvania. It could be Wisconsin or Michigan. I think one of them could very well go blue, but it won't be enough. She has to win all of them, which is why when you take off these states and you make them undecided, you see the danger for Democrats right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have to, assuming that Trump wins Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, which he's very, very much ahead, right? Kamala Harris has to run the table with every remaining state on this map in order to win. If she loses one state, Donald Trump's president.
Oh, that's only 8 days away.
Yep.
So should you want to do something election night? It's November.
I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to be a
well.
mess.
Let's not rule out just coming on for a few.
Come on.
Let's not rule out. It's going to be a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think we'll do something.
I feel like we have to. You know, the last couple.
Maybe we should zoom into Altman's show.
You think he'd have us?
Want me to say?
Sure.
I'll send a message.
I mean, I think it'll be a no.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a no. But in the interest of unity, as I assume they'll be doing something. In the interest of unity, I'll say I'll shoot my message.
Yeah. Let's just let all the bygones be bygones. Move on.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what we all want, right?
Yeah.
So I'll shoot him a message. He'll ignore me. He'll curse me out. But I'll shoot him a message.
I'm not going to send him one. He probably wouldn't even respond to me, or he might say some choice words. I don't know. Kind of miss the crew over there, man. I miss some of the days. You know.
Maybe we'll have you do the booking. You're the producer.
That's true. That's true. But if I'm producing it, I'm just going to call it out a no.
Well, here's the question: do we want to ask to go on his show, or do we want to invite him on ours?
Ooh, wow. I mean, I don't care. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get some previous guests that we've had.
Yeah.
Do and talk and see if there's some.
We'll plan this out. We'll do something.
Let's see if we can get some guests on that'll want to at least put 15 minutes on there and talk, because this is going to be one of those wild rides, King. It's going to be an emotional mess. I have a feeling that Max is going to be actually up and pacing. It's going to be really hard for him to sit at that screen. I imagine TV going back and forth, a beer in hand, going, "What the hell is going on?"
It's going to be one of those things where I'm like, what if I lived in Colorado and there were edibles around? Like, one of those kind of nights. Not that I do that. But in terms of stress release, like who's got the CBD gummies, like that kind of thing.
You're not wrong there. Like the whole valley that I live in sometimes absolutely reeks of fresh marijuana.
Yeah,
there's groweries everywhere in this state. If you guys don't know, they are everywhere.
Yeah, so we'll plan something. We'll do something. Probably not super late, but we'll do something.
No, because I'm gonna have to get sleep that night. Otherwise, I'm gonna be up all night watching it. And
I'm gonna be up all night watching it. I mean, it's either going to be a celebration, it's going to be a nail biter, or it's going to be drinking yourself into a coma.
Yeah, because I got a feeling by 10 p.m., I'm hoping that we've got a real handle on what's coming in, right? The returns, if coming in for one side, I would love to see a Republican win just start churning out at those wee hours, right? Heading into the next morning. But I again, I'm hoping for no funny business in Georgia. I'm hoping for no funny business in New Mexico. I'm hoping for no funny business in Colorado. Make sure that you're checking your votes, right? Make sure that when they give you a vote number, You know, you record that stuff for your own records. That way, you know, you make sure the vote goes the way you want it when you vote for it. And again, call your grandparents. Make sure that if they need a ride, you give them a ride today.
Yeah.
You know, give them a ride the day of.
Yep.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Nervous. Let's watch a Trump ad that's been circulating. A little bit of feel good, and we'll watch his closing message, and then we'll close out the show.
If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. 2024 is our final battle. They stole our jobs and they plundered our wealth. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots.
The activation word, Ronald McDonald.
We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists.
America will start winning again. Winning like never before. We will bring back our jobs. We will bring back our borders. And we will bring back our dreams.
Fan made. Trump would never get.
Never get all of that. Yeah.
The
Hollywood stuff.
The rights to all those Top Gun clips and Van Halen's Jump. But it's this nostalgia feel. Yeah. This nostalgia feel of like, well, what if we were like we were in the 80s? And I think it's a winning message. Here's Trump's closing message, which again hit me right in the feels last night.
After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of the USA. With your help from now until Election Day, we will restore America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we all love. We bleed the same blood. We share the same home. And we salute the same great American flag. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down. And we will never, ever, ever, ever surrender. Together we will fight, and we will win. We're going to win.
I mean, compared to Kamala Harris's final message, which was Trump's a Nazi, Trump's Hitler, do you vote for that or do you vote for this? Yeah. My take is you vote for this.
Yeah. The reason you vote for this, I mean, Kamala, did you see the reception she got kind of at her rallies lately? Booed. Have you seen that? We've got 8 seconds of it. Would you like to feel the booze?
Yeah. There was a better one. Let me see if I can find the better one where she looks really pissed.
Yeah, because there was a few in there. But that was an 8-second solid boo. You go to a Trump rally, people can't stop cheering for America. People can't stop cheering for a better life. People can't stop cheering for Donald Trump. You go to a Kamala rally and you get Beyonce not performing, right?
Yeah.
We got to lie to you to get you to our rallies, right?
No Trump one lied.
Waiting outside.
Yeah. Lee Greenwood actually sang at Madison Square Garden. that wasn't a bait and switch.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
And he's still belting it out. And Beyonce couldn't do one song for her. Why not? Right? Why not?
Oh, I might have to change that map I just told you about.
Why?
This is out from Rasmussen.
Oh. What is it?
With this.
Is it exciting news? What is this? Where?
Trump up in National. I clicked the wrong one. Where is it? Where's the one I wanted?
Where's it at?
He was Virginia right here. Trump down 2 in Virginia.
Wow, that was
1,000 likely voters.
Wow, it's going to be close. So in the error margin.
Gotta be close. He's going there. If we can get Kamala Harris there again, whether or not you can flip Virginia, every minute and every dollar she spends in Virginia, she's not spending in another state.
Yeah,
so
she's not in New Mexico.
If you get her on defense, it is objectively better. Well, if you like the podcast, if you're excited, pumped up, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, like, comment, share. Obviously, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on X. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We also have the audio edition of the podcast, which is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Audible, Podbean, all those great places. Subscribe if you haven't already. We try and keep it as audio friendly as possible. That's it for this edition. My name is Max McGuire.
I'm Josh Hammerling.
Remember, the fight to take back our country is not over yet, but the only way we win is if we all stand up and fight together. See you next time.
See ya.